Today we're going to tackle that problem of patching small holes in drywall. You know, we got the young ones that rabble-rousing around, playing ball in the house, maybe doing a little wrestling, knocking a hole in the drywall, elbow. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to fix it. Now, as I was doing some more research on this project, I found probably hundreds of videos on patching drywall. But there again, I don't feel like a lot of them gave enough detail on the finer points of getting it to look like it should be. Now, I might be wrong on that, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to get it where you don't have to run all over the internet, all over YouTube looking for something like that. You can come straight to me and I can give you the answers that you're looking for. What we're going to do today is we're going to be covering making our template, gluing it to a heavy-duty cardboard, cutting the template out, pinning the template in place, and we're going to be patching a hole in a ceiling. And I really think it came out looking really, really well. But just kind of sit back and enjoy and take notes. And remember, these videos can be run just like a VCR. So if you run into something and you have a question about it, back it up and look at it again, take your notes. So that way when you get done with it, you can have your projects come out so well that your neighbors and friends will wonder who did it for you. So got to be careful though, because if you get too good at it, they'll want you to do it for them. But that's another story. Anyway, so in the meantime, enjoy, and we'll go from there. One of the first things we need to do before we start anything is we need a plan of attack. I always like using graph paper as a plan of attack. We've located the center of the paper, and that is right here. Okay, so my favorite patch size, my favorite hole size is 4 inches. 4 inches by 4 inches. So what we do is we go 8 inches. This is a 1/4 inch graph paper. So we're going 8 each way, and that brings us right out to here. And it brings us right out to here. And all you have to do is just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that puts it right here. And then I'm just making it as quickly as I possibly can. The next thing we want to do, once we've established our borders, is we come in and we draw a line right along that graph line right there. That graph line is your kind of like your get out of jail free card right there. If you're not worried about it, you can go beyond it a little bit. That's fine. No big deal. We're going to come in here on this side. I'll show you what I'm doing here. Lining it up with those items right here. And all you have to do, you don't need to worry about the corners. You just need to make sure that you're staying right on that line. See? He's right on that line. And even if it moves a little bit, you're not worried about that, because that's not going to be what helps you. So now, then we come in here and then we go in here and we draw our final line here, and our third line here, and our fourth line is right there. Now, what I like to do with this one, I've already made a template before, but what I like to do is I like to go in with a push pin, and I use a push pin to establish my corners. So I come in here and I grab a push pin out of my handy dandy box here, and everywhere where there's a corner, there's a hole. Put right in the intersection there. That makes it very, very accurate. Okay? And then your final one is right here. Okay, I say again, this is our before, and this is our after. And if you notice, we got pinholes in the corners. I'll show you how those pinholes will work in later. But this is how you do your template. This template is something you also want to hold on to because you can use it for patches in the future. This template is exactly 4 inches by 4 inches. This is the template we were talking about. Your pinholes are in the corners right here. Your pinholes that we talked about are right here in the corners, right here, here and here. What you do is you come in. The next thing you do is you affix it to this cardboard with a glue stick, and make sure it's all the wrinkles are pushed out and everything like that. Then you come in with this, and those lines that you're lining up on, you'll cut right along those lines right there, from dot to dot, all the way around. And this is the tool. This is the tool that you're going to use for cutting your patches in. I like to use a heavy-duty corrugated cardboard because your tooling will ride along the edges very nicely. We will show you this here in a little bit. But I'll show you how we do that. And the pins, that we hold it in place with are these pins right here. These push pins. Right there. Right there. Really handy tool. Hold on to it. Don't get rid of it. As you run into more patches, you'll use this thing many times over and over. And if it gets destroyed, you can go ahead and cut another one out from the way I gave you the instructions earlier in this video. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the patch for that hole that we're working on in the ceiling in there. Okay? Now, normally what I like to do is stay with whole numbers. This one is a little bit larger. This is a 6.5 by 6.5. So what we have to do is take the whole dimension and subtract the hole we want, the plug we want it to be cut to. So it's 6.5. We're subtracting 3 3/4 from that, and then we're going to divide that in 2. So what we'll have is when we get 6.5 minus 3 3/4, we wind up with 2 3/4. And when you divide that, it brings you down to 1 3/8. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our borders for 1 3/8 right here. So I've already got my scale set at 1 3/8. We're going to take and slide that up here against that real quick. We're going to bring that down. We're going to do there. Flip it over. When we repeat the process all the way around. Okay? Repeat the process all the way around. Lay it back over here. You want to take and put that edge of your straight edge right against the edge of your drywall. And you want to nick it right there. And as you notice, we're doing it on the back side of the wood. We're going to use it. Well, this is the back of the board. This is what's going to be inside the wall. Okay. So then we flip it around here. We do our final edge right here. Okay. And we flip it over this way. Now, what I'm going to do now is we're going to take this straight edge and we're going to lay it right up against that edge right here. Lay it right on that line right here. We're going to take the spring clamps. Put that right there. Put your other spring clamp right over here. Like I said, I always like to have them spring clamped in place so that way it doesn't move. It stays right where you want it. That way when you run your knife, it's not going to drift on you and give you a bad cut. This will also help when you're up there trying to make tight corners and stuff like this. This will help immensely. Then we take our knife. You don't have to go deep. You just have to go, and then you just take and you lay it right up against the edge right here. Right up against that edge. Okay, take and remove that. You do not break anything. You break nothing until you get all of your marks scored, all of your lines scored. Okay, there again. When you line it up, you kind of want to split that line. Put your spring clamps in here on the back side there. Just kind of sneak it up on there a little bit. Hold it down tight. Make sure both sides are looking good. They are. Take there. And then this is one of these little tricks you don't ever see anybody do before, but it works very, very well. There again, then we take and we push the spring clamps up against the edge that we're cutting into. Hold down nice and tight. Okay. Close. I always like to close the utility knife so we don't get cut. If somebody comes up there and bumps it or knocks it off the table, and somebody could get cut in their foot or their leg or anything like that. Okay. Bring it back around again, and we just keep repeating the process until all of the lines are cut. There again. I like to have them right on that line. Bring it right up to that line. And it's not a critical thing, but it's like everything else. The more you practice precision, the better you get at it. So here we go. We're just about done with that. Okay. Right there. There again. Push it right up against that edge right there. And the beautiful part about it being having them clamped in place is that even if the board moves, your spring clamp, your straight edge stays with the board. It doesn't move. This might move, but this won't move on the board. So that's where we use that spring clamp. Works very, very well. Okay, then we got and then we have our final edge right here. And bring it up real close. Right there. Right there. Okay. Then our final cut is right here. Bring it back up. Okay. we have all of our cuts made. Then it's a simple process. Get your trash can close by. Just take and lay your board right over the edge there. Take and push down on it. There you go. And then just all you want to do then is just peel that back. You're not too worried about it not being exactly all the way. Then here's another thing too. If it does look like it's a little wonky, you can take and run your utility knife right down against that edge right there. There you go. Okay. And then we go and we do it again. Okay, there again. There we go. Now that one looks nice and straight. And then again, the last one right here. What you wind up with is a very nice patch. This goes in your hole right here. This lays on your back side, even though it's a little ragged. When you get the drywall on, it'll lay out flat, nice and even. And then the next step will be applying the patch. A small note to add to it. Your hole size is 4 inches, and we want to cut 1/8 of an inch down on each side to allow the patch to slide into the hole so that there's no interference. So what I try to do is I cut the patch itself to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, allowing 1/8 of an inch on each side. And our video is a little bit longer than I'd like, so this is going to be part 1. Part 2 will be following in the next few days. In the meantime, we just want to let you know that we're with you when you're up there trying to do these repairs. When you first start, it might be a little intimidating. Like everything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it. This video, what I've shown you today, is very easy to do. The next video, the next video will show applying the drywall mud, putting the patch in, smoothing everything out, and getting your top coats even. But in the meantime, we just want you to know that if you like what you see, by all means, please give us a comment. We're starting to get into more content on our videos. We're giving you more information that you can possibly use. And if you like it, please let us know that. You know, and if you like what you see, tell your friends. And by all means, hit that subscribe bell and hit the like button. The more the merrier. Anyway, have a good day, and we'll see you on the next video.